All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, welcome to tonight's call. It's Sunday evening here in North America, and this is Nicole Peterson and from Vizionary, all the way from Canada, depending on where you are in the world. And I've actually got Andy Morbitzer sitting here beside me, who is the president of Vizionary, who is chewing gum in my ear. But say hello.
Well, hello. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays.
So we're going to actually try something a little bit different tonight. I'm going to share with you some new slides that I've been putting together for Vizionary. They're not quite complete, but they're completed enough tonight that we thought we would kind of do a preview and possibly get your feedback from them as well. And it's kind of a little bit of a different take than we've done in other business overviews. But if you haven't been introduced to Vizionary before, this is a business overview for Vizionary and Capricorn. Vizionary is the distribution arm for Capricorn. And we're going to talk a little bit about the economy and the industry and what's going on with all of that. And Andy's going to help and pitch in whenever I tell him to.
And there you have
it. So welcome everyone to tonight's business overview. So tonight I'm actually going to share with you a revolution that is happening in this industry that many, and possibly even as many as 90% of us, are completely unaware of. Or have very little education on, and maybe only 10% of us have heard of it and are really, capitalizing on it. Or taking advantage of this opportunity. And this new revolution is really driven by technology, and it's affecting all of us globally. So we're going to show you how you can profit from a little-known technology which is poised to disrupt the largest industry on the planet. And that's the currency and the finance markets. And this is a $16.1 trillion market. It's the largest market on the planet. So it is hard to imagine how large it is. Every other single industry uses the global banking and exchange system. When you think about it, we all use commerce each and every day. So this affects everyone. So we're going to show you how this global finance and currency market is due for massive disruption. And we see the manipulation in the markets. It's destroyed a lot of faith that we as citizens have in our financial system. We see it in the newspapers and the media and the TV, debts that countries like the US, Germany, Japan, and even China, they're all now coming due. So, and we even see it at home. It's not just globally, but we see it at home as well. So this is a cute little, cartoon, but, I know that, it talks about how the mom and dad aren't even making enough money that the children now have to go to work and help support the bills. And it's kind of different from where we were even 30, 40 years ago. When I was a child myself, my dad worked and he was the breadwinner. And, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. We were very fortunate. But today, a lot of parents are both working, and many are working 2 or 3 jobs. It's not just one job, just to help with extra activities, school activity, after school activities, hockey, whatever sports the kids are involved in, or a drama club or whatever. It's all those little extra expenses that parents are simply can't afford 2 or 3 sports that their kids may want to play. They may be limited to one sport. So we're seeing it at home as well. But, you also see it in, I don't know if you've seen it in the grocery stores as well. I mean, I know I have. When you go and purchase items, I've noticed that, the amounts and the quality of the foods is decreasing, yet the price might stay the same for a few months, and then I'll actually notice it creep up a few months afterwards as well. So inflation is definitely here, and we're definitely seeing it each and every day. So I honestly believe the quality of lifestyle is really decreasing. And I think that's only going to continue, unfortunately. I have to worry. I'm a single mom myself of 2 kids. Mine are a little bit older now. They're 13 and 14 years of age, but my goodness, they do get more expensive as they get older. As just having gone through Christmas, the toys are a little bit more pricey than when they were, 1 and 2. But, I worry about them, and I worry about where they will be, when they're my age, and will they be able to support their children? It's actually been stated by a couple of, articles that I've read that the next generation will not be wealthier than their parents for the first time since the Great Depression. So they're the first generation to get hit by this inflation and this debt that is increasing and incurring all over the world. So this new technology, this could protect you and your family, as well as turn the entire banking industry inside out. And it's not a game changer. We're actually creating an entirely new game. So a whole new bunch of new rules, a whole bunch of new players. And what's more important is we're going to show you how these ordinary people, you and I, not just the ultra rich, can get in on this once in a million opportunity. The entire banking system is now on the brink of really disruptive change, which means there's massive potential to profit within a $16 trillion industry. The global markets at the moment are showing terrible signs of stress, and everyone, everywhere, including and especially people in the United States. But I think it's really important to understand what's going on with the global currency and finance markets and why. Since this is the largest industry that we can capitalize on, it's important to know, why. So many people all over the world are saying, that Greece hasn't, defaulted, or they've been in a bailout, but they just agreed to a deal. And it's quite likely that this debt will actually never be repaid. But more importantly, and this is critical, this deal is really the death bell for the euro and European sovereignty. It's hard to describe how dangerous this precedent is, but at the moment you've got Greeks that are turning to alternative solutions because they see that the threat is quite large. So they're turning to alternative currencies. And we've seen that with the Bitcoin ATMs that have been installed all throughout Greece. Housewives are turning to barter, and those that are technologically, I can't say that word. Technologically, still can't say it. It's hard. Anybody out there can help us? Technologically.
There you go.
Anybody who's technologically inclined.
But try to say it while you're laughing.
Or they're actually using cryptocurrency, within this debt crisis. So the usage of these are actually skyrocketing. And this all happened when, the banks shut down in Greece, and capital controls were installed, and they could only withdraw 60 euros from their bank account every day. And ask yourself, is that enough for you to live on, for you and your family, 60 euros every day? Or what a hindrance. Maybe you need a couple $100s a week for groceries and gas. You can only take out 60 euros a day or $60 a day. Well, that means you have to go to the bank every day to make sure that you've got that couple $100s to, buy those gas and those groceries. So it's an inconvenience. So, and then you just see this around the world, but banks are going bankrupt. Countries are going bankrupt. They're in debt. We see it in Argentina, Zimbabwe, Greece. And so the euro is actually decreasing. And this is a recent chart. But debts in countries around the world are accumulating. The euro may be doomed, but the Japanese yen is actually worse off. The yen and the Japanese government bonds, these are all a disaster in the making, and it's playing itself out now as we speak. The repercussions of that are going to ripple through financial markets because the Japanese government, they're in a real predicament, having built up far too much debt and having a demographic tsunami really sitting on their doorstep. So Puerto Rico doesn't matter, Greece doesn't matter, but Japan matters, and so does the euro. And there's this belief that the status quo can remain, the belief that sound fundamentals don't seem to matter anymore and that we can just go on living our lives day in, day out, and nothing will affect us. But you know what? They always do. And it's kind of like gravity. They always have and they always will. And I've got this analogy here. It's like a jet flying through the sky can defy gravity only until it runs out of fuel. And then everything we're looking at tells us that we're running on fumes right now. People are assuming the currency crisis and market manipulation will never happen in the US, but it will. The US dollar is doomed, just like those other currencies are doomed. It's really not a question of if, but when. And this is a quote from Ron Paul, who's a former US presidential candidate and 22-year-old congressman. But he says, "I believe we as a nation are on the brink of a massive financial crisis, infinitely worse than the crisis of 2008. And that's because it won't be a banking and mortgage problem, but a full-blown currency crisis, the likes of which we've never experienced in this country. The savings of millions of people could be wiped out overnight. The stock market could crash by 50% or more, and the way of life we've enjoyed as Americans for 50 years could come to an end. It's not a question of if this will happen, but when." So this is creating all sorts of problems, which in itself is causing people to really seek out solutions. What can we do about this? You know, it wouldn't be possible for this technology to be so disruptive if this had been developed 15 years ago, because it's only today's pressures that are making a really drastic change. Today they exist because of the very broken system that the central banks have created and continue to create. This really is a revolution of our entire financial industry. And that's kind of what makes it a little bit exciting as well. There's always a silver lining around every cloud. But the impending collapse of the euro, the yen, the dollar, and probably the Chinese yuan is coming. We know there's a huge currency and debt crisis coming, but what can average people do about it? It's a big problem. The bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. The technologies which disrupt this archaic, dysfunctional currency banking system that's in existence today have a massive profit potential. So what is this revolutionary technology that all of us can profit from? The disruptive, little-known technology that is going to be the future of currency is referred to as a blockchain. So you may have heard of Bitcoin, which is also called a cryptocurrency. But the developers of Bitcoin developed this blockchain technology. And it's revolutionary in financial technology. So it may be kind of a new concept for many. So here's what it means in layman's terms. It's really a public ledger that records transactions. So and a record keeper. When we go to the bank and we transfer money back and forth, we have bank statements and we have online accounts, and we can all see money coming in and money going out. And it's the same thing here. It's just in a digital format. But when you and I transact with one another, we typically will require somebody that we trust, right? So those people may be lawyers, or they could be financial intermediaries, accountants, or notaries. We'll sign documents and they'll assist us in that transferring. Whenever we do a wire transfer, right, we have to sign documents for that. So same kind of an idea. The bank is the intermediary. The bank is the person we trust. So that's how our existing financial structure works. Now, the blockchain is a technology that eliminates that intermediary. So it's really almost a peer-to-peer transaction. Like I can send you money and you can send me money directly, and we don't need the banks anymore, or a lawyer, or an accountant. So if I were to give you an analogy, consider a highway. This highway allows for participants to drive on it. It allows for commerce to take place, and because users no longer have to spend hours going over mountains, rivers, and jungles, it adds an enormous convenience. So on this highway, you may drive your BMW, and I might drive a Toyota. Next guy might drive a Mack truck, but the vehicles on this highway are just services in themselves. Some may be passenger vehicles, some commercial transport goods, and so forth. This highway provides us a faster, safer, more efficient means of getting from A to B, rather than fighting through the jungles and the rivers. And so it takes a fraction of time to do so. So it's very valuable for us. So those are key words when we talk about the blockchain and cryptocurrencies, about faster, safer, more efficient, fraction of the time. What's important to understand is nobody owns the blockchain. Or in this analogy, the highway. Nobody owns this highway. So it's shared by all the computers on the network, including yours. And when you use the network, then you become a participant. When I use it, I become a participant. So it's almost as if when driving on the highway, every time that you and I drive on it, it actually lays down another layer of asphalt, making it stronger. When you have hundreds of thousands and millions of users participating, that's when it becomes exponentially more robust. And that's essentially the genius of the blockchain technology. So just like the internet provided a highway for communication and information sharing, the blockchain provides this digital highway for financial transactions. Even the biggest markets are starting to invest in blockchain technology for its security and verification tools. NASDAQ just launched enterprise technology using the blockchain. They realize that this technology is coming and is in the future. This is just, people, different countries accepting Bitcoin, which has the blockchain technology. It's now a commodity by the US regulator. Big banks, one of the largest banks, Barclays in the UK, is now accepting Bitcoin. So already the world is changing at such a fast pace, it's really hard to keep up. We talk about the internet and when it first came out and how, when we had telephones, nobody really understood how the internet worked and how people could actually communicate on the internet. But we're really moving from an industrial revolution age now within the finance industry to more of a digital industrial phase. So, back in the day with media, we've gone from print and newspapers to radio to television, where, the average person was fed information But now we've come to an age where we can actually create entertainment and information. And that's all through social media. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter have been integral in that whole process, especially YouTube. For instance, videos that Gangnam Style, I don't know if you remember that, but over 1 billion views on YouTube. Coney 2012 was 90 million views and 600 million earned. There's a story about an 8-year-old boy who actually made 1.3 million per year on videos. That 8-year-old boy 30 years ago, 40 years ago, would not have had the technology to do that, right? So that's the age that we're moving into. We're able to create the media and the ourselves. It's pretty amazing, actually. The world's largest hotelier, Airbnb. I don't know if you guys know about that, but they actually own no hotels. And this was two guys who actually, I don't think they could afford much. And they actually started out with 3 air mattresses in their apartment and started renting them out and put it up on a website. And they didn't advertise it on Craigslist because they didn't want it to be that type of a thing, but they just put their own website together and started marketing it. Without the internet and technology, that would not have been possible. But now Airbnb is one of the largest in their industry, with no hotels. It's amazing. It's completely grown. The world's largest taxi company, Uber, they own no taxis. That's people like you and me who can actually make a couple extra bucks giving somebody a ride. Through a phone. It's pretty amazing. And the world's largest retailer, Amazon, at least until recently, owned no retail stores. So the world is really changing with smartphones and technology. And it's interesting that the finance market is really the last industry that hasn't really taken a hold of this change yet. And I think it's about to happen with the blockchain. Uber and Airbnb, they're great examples of companies that really disrupted their industries and made early stage investors really rich. These early stage investors in these companies, they made a 6,000% return. And here's an example of a Norwegian student at the time who was doing a report on cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. And he just thought he would put $26. He was a student into Bitcoin, and years later, he heard about Bitcoin on the I think it was the TV, and thought, oh, I think I invested in that. Checked his account and realized that his $26 had turned into $850,000. That's somebody who just got in early. So this industry is disrupting an industry that is 1,000 times larger than Uber's market. 1,000 times. The taxi industry is small. It's 12 billion, and the global financial industry is worth 1,000 times that. And that's how big this opportunity is. We're moving from a world of centralization to one of decentralization, along with money, like Bitcoin, that is just math and owned by no one. So the global financial system is broken, the markets are corrupt, the central banks have ruined their own fiat currency. What can we do? We've created a way for ordinary people to still transact, to still live their lives, and to still move money around without going through the banking system. And this is the digital revolution that affects us all. And yes, it's completely revolutionary. So we're introducing a new currency today. And that new global currency is an instant digital payment solution called Capricoin. Now, Bill Bonner, he's a well-known, well-respected founder and president of Agora Publishing. This is a quote he actually said, I think it was early of 2015, but digital currency is the first improvement in money in 5,000 years. And here's a guy who's been, studied finance, been in the finance markets for ages and decades. And I read his article on digital currency, and he was really skeptical at first, I'll be honest, and he was honest about it. But he has now seen the light, I guess you could see, and as many have. So how is Capricorn better than Bitcoin? Let's talk about Capricorn a little bit, and how can we make it mainstream? So transactions will occur much faster than Bitcoin. The actual transactions occurring with Bitcoin are still using part of the old archaic financial system. But Capricorn is also what's known as a second generation cryptocurrency, which means we have instant payments. With Bitcoin, it can take up to 20 minutes for verification of your purchase. And with Capricorn, it takes approximately 3 seconds. And this can be the difference between purchasing a hot pizza or a cold pizza. And this is what will make Capricorn widely acceptable. Transactions are less expensive than the traditional banking methods. The cost of transactions for us right now is high. Credit card processing fees, you're looking at 2 to 3% roughly, and wiring money internationally or even domestically. Right? We pay high fees for any kind of wire transfer at a bank. But right now with Capricorn, we have a peer-to-peer platform. And now you can send money to friends, family, business colleagues with 0 fees, and it's instant. And there's no waiting 2 to 3 days for the banks to clear the funds. Bitcoin is expensive to mine. It's got hardware, software, electricity, and all of that really adds up. But right now you can accumulate Capricorn for pennies on the dollar, much like the early adopters did with Bitcoin. Capricorn is a legitimate cryptocurrency. It's available on 3 public exchanges right now: Bittrex, Blue Trade, and CoinMarketCap. So we're designed to protect and secure finances. It's also designed to increase in value. The innovative technologies that Capricorn and Vizionary are working on in the background are exciting and thrilling, and just bringing it into the mainstream is going to be such a great 2016. We're really excited about it, actually. But we've got ways to bring this into the marketplace through small businesses as well as some bigger businesses we've got who are looking at accepting Capricorn very soon. So it will take off, and it's designed to be a global payment solution as well. Here's the big thing, is that Bitcoin has no formal marketing strategy. But we do, right? Vizionary is the distribution arm behind Capricorn. It also does the mining for Capricorn. But with Vizionary, we've got all of our members who are actually helping promote the coin as well as use Capricorn. And with the use of Capricorn, the value increases. And as we introduce this to small businesses and bigger businesses as well, and people start using Capricorn, and word spreads. I mean, it's the best form of marketing on the planet. We all know that, right? The social word of mouth. Social media has proven that to the 10th degree, just, from YouTube and Facebook. Everything is based off of social media. 20 years ago, no small business even had, a Facebook page or a Twitter account. Now, some still don't, which is amazing in this day and age. But it's those that aren't really capitalizing on that social media that probably should be number one, but maybe struggling. Maybe they just don't have the funds to set that up. Marketing and word of mouth. We all know that positive word of mouth is just better. When you see a good movie, you know about it. All your friends are talking about it. When you see a bad movie, you hear about that too, right? So Actually, you know what? Scott Schlemmer had the best analogy on this on marketing just this past Wednesday when he did the previous business overview. And he was talking about the burger, the best burger you've ever had. When you think about that, what's the restaurant or the best burger that you've had? Maybe it's not a restaurant, maybe it's your own burger, but what's the best burger you've ever had? You know, I'm sure none of you thought of a Big Mac or a McDonald's burger, right? Well, Andy's always hungry, so he's thinking about it.
Wow.
Many of us don't think McDonald's burgers are not good. They're not the best burgers we've ever had. And even my kids, when they were even just 5 years ago, they would hate to go to McDonald's. It was no longer their favorite burger. But yet, it's the best selling burger probably on the planet. Scott was saying that a Big Mac is seconds. So, and why are they so successful with selling a mediocre burger? It's because of their marketing. And that's what we're going to do with Capricorn. And that's what we've got that Bitcoin doesn't have. I want to talk about Gary Connor. And he's kind of like our third party, what do you call it? Testimony. Okay. But he's a tenured, successful cryptocurrency advisor. He's the editor-in-chief of Altcoin Today, which is a newsletter, I guess, one of the leading newsletters for alternative currencies on the net today. He's actually coined Capricorn to be the perfect coin. He honestly thinks it will explode in value in 2 years. And he's recommended and suggested people collect as many as they can. Now, here's a man who has been, he got involved, he's been in this space since 2009 when Bitcoin first was launched. So he knows all about, alternative coins and Bitcoin. So and he gets introduced to quite a few companies who have distribution arms as well. And yet this was the first company that he wanted to have an active participant role in because he honestly believes in the management and the strategy, the innovative technologies that we've got to make this coin go mainstream. He honestly believes this coin is going to be one of the coins that is going to explode in value in 2 years. So that's good. That's exciting news to hear, and we're glad that he's supporting us. So how would you become a member and collect some Capricorn with Vizionary? These are our mining packages, and you've got options and choices depending on what level and honestly how many Capricorns you want to have in a digital mining account. So they go from bronze to Vizionary, and they vary in price anywhere from 97 euros to just under 6,000 euros. And the difference in the packages is essentially the mining. So how many Capricorns you will mine each and every week. And obviously, the higher the package, the more Capricorns you will mine. And the more Capricorns you will have in your digital wallet. You can pay with credit card. I think you can pay with credit card up to platinum. You can't. Vizionary needs to be a wire. So you could purchase the platinum and then send in the rest of the funds by wire transfers. Sorry, you might have to wait 2 or 3 days for that with the banking systems. But what's great about Vizionary is that there's no monthly fees or annual fees ever. You pay for the mining packages, and all of your money goes towards mining except for 47 euros, which actually goes towards the back office and administration and so forth. But Vizionary does all the mining for you. It's 100% automated. And if you don't know very much about cryptocurrency, we actually provide an education program within that as well. So you've got some homework back there. These are the co-owners and the management team of Vizionary. Now, we've got Ladislav Pastor from Slovakia, who is the CFO. Frodeberg to the right of is the CEO, and as Andy says, the boss. He's from Norway. Andy Morbitzer, who's sitting here beside me, is the president from the USA. And Jesper Benson is the network advisor from Denmark. And all of these men have networking experience as well as business experience, all successful and tenured in their own right. Quite a few years of, management. One thing I can say is that I've had, because of the situation that I'm in and with Andy, I've had, had the privilege of working with these men almost on a daily basis and talking with them and meeting with them. We met them a couple of times in Spain this year. And I have to say that they're very passionate about this company and where it's headed. And you can see it in their eyes when they talk about it. Their eyes light up. It's exciting times, exciting management. And it's definitely 2016 is going to be a great year. I've read so many articles already saying that 2016 is the age of cryptocurrency, and Vizionary is definitely poised to be leading the way, let's say, for that. So what you want to do is start minding your own business and profit from the next wave of the digital revolution with Capricorn. Our mission is really, let me talk a little bit about our mission in a second, but this is Bill Gates. Obviously, the future of money is digital currency. Bill, obviously one of the most successful men on the planet. He's obviously jumped on board with digital currency and sees that it's probably the wave of the future with smartphones and technology today. It's definitely the way. The next generation, our children are probably going to be purchasing everything on their smartphone. They may not even own a wallet. So our mission is really to create a coin, Capricorn, that allows individuals to participate in one of the most meaningful wealth transfers in the history of mankind. And that's the shift from a centralized, really fee-ridden banking system to a no fees, no restrictions, instant peer-to-peer financial platform that can all be completed on a smartphone. It's exciting. It's happening right now. There will never be a better time to be, one of the early adopters of Capricorn. The time is now. So what we recommend is you get in touch with the person who invited you to this presentation and get their link and join at one of those packages that we talked about before and start mining Capricorn this week. And we look forward and we welcome you to on board with Vizionary and Capricorn. We've got tons of support. We've got Facebook groups. We've got Skype groups. So you will not be alone. And we look forward to meeting you in person and hopefully at the next Vizionary event soon. So with that, I wish you good night. And Andy wishes you good night too. Say good night.
Good night.
Okay. It's amazing. So this is coming from a man who really is not all that quiet and loves to speak. So it's kind of funny to see him say one word. Are you sure you have nothing else to add? He's shaking his head no. All right, with that,
You did a great job.
Everyone, thank you. Have a great night, and we'll see you in the groups. Take care.